One of the most common questions we get here at Baxter & Bella is about barking. All dogs bark, and there's different reasons why they bark. So today I'm going to help you identify what type of barking your dog is doing and how to handle that type of barking, specifically on alert, demand, and playful barking. Welcome to Baxter & Bella, our YouTube channel where we offer tips and tricks on how to train your dog. First, let's talk about alert barking. Let's go. Alert barking is one of the most common types of barking that we see. So this would be when your dog is looking out a window and they see a bird or they see a cat or they see a person and a dog walking down your sidewalk. Could be the mailman, really anything that your dog is feeling like they need to guard against. And they're going to let you know, hey, somebody's here. I see someone, I see something, I see a dog, an animal, and I want you to know about it. That's alert barking. So if we want to change this pattern of behavior, it's a little bit trickier because the mailman, for example, let's say that your dog's barking out the window and they see the mail truck pull up and they bark at it and then the mail truck leaves. Your dog's getting this sense of, wow, that felt good and it worked. I barked at the mailman, they drove away. So that reinforcement is happening externally, meaning I'm not in control of that reinforcement. The mailman's actually doing that unintentionally, but your dog's getting rewarded for it. So it's important with alert barking that anytime your dog sees, we'll just call them triggers, right? All of those things I mentioned are triggers for your dog. Identify what are your dog's triggers, and then we're going to help set them up for success, meaning my dog might be staring out the window. I know what time the mailman pulls up. So immediately, as soon as they see that mail truck, I'm offering little food scatters on the floor or even just putting something smelly in front of their nose to lure them away from the window so that we're preventing the barking from being practiced. Dogs learn in patterns. So the pattern has been before this would be the dog sees the mailman, they bark, the mailman leaves. In order to change that pattern, we need to interrupt the barking, right? We don't want the barking to still be part of the pattern. So the dog can still be looking out the window, they see the mail truck pull up, immediately we're offering some kind of incentive or motivation to turn away from that and walk away. And that's the new behavior that takes place of the barking at the mail truck. So with any type of alert barking, we really want to get out in front of it. We want to set them up for success by maybe practicing some sessions where the trigger will be introduced. And again, we are able to lure our dog away. Distances will play into key here. So they're a big factor. If my dog can't handle, seeing that mail truck from that distance, I might need to start a few feet back, maybe the back of the room, maybe the hallway, maybe further away from the actual window, because that distance will help my dog be more successful. So the time frame for this will be dependent largely on how much of a habit this is for your dog, how long they've been practicing the current pattern. So be patient. With the mail truck, that's a little tricky. They only come once a day, so you're not going to get a lot of repetitions with that, but once a day for sure. With a person walking past your house or a dog walking past your house, you could set up practice sessions where you get a friend, have them bring their dog, and then just text them, okay, please walk past my window. Ready, walk past my window. We're ready, walk past my window. And you could actually get a lot of repetitions in one session. So with alert barking, again, identify your dog's trigger, create distance away from that trigger, and find something that's motivating enough for your dog to turn away from it so that we can prevent the bark from being part of that pattern. So as you can see with alert barking, dogs get rewarded by external factors. Next, let's talk about demand barking where you're specifically involved. Bruno's here with me today and he's going to help us talk about demand barking. So when we get puppies, we use food a lot to help motivate them to learn new behavior. And so oftentimes we're feeding them a treat and they want a treat faster. Mostly because they don't have a lot of patience or impulse control. So if I'm feeding my puppy a treat every few seconds and I'm starting to lengthen that out to 5 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds, a minute, sometimes we get this demand barking like, hey, give me that treat faster. I want that right now. I'm not willing to wait any longer for that. And so that's where this demand barking comes in. But the key to that, as I mentioned, is patience. So as we teach our puppies to wait for things that are good, they become more patient and more able to control their impulses to bark. So that demand barking often goes away as we work on patience. So the best way I think to handle that is to slowly, up the time as as far as in between when you're giving a treat. So I give a treat, maybe the next time I wait 5 seconds. If your dog's demand barking at 5 seconds, then don't keep trying to do 5 seconds. You realize, oh, I've got to make this easier for my dog. So now I'm going to give a treat every 3 seconds, and maybe I repeat that several times until I can then push to 5 seconds. Now, some of you are thinking seconds, oh my goodness, this is going to take me forever. It really progresses quite quickly the more you do this, and I'm doing this on a daily basis. I'm wearing a treat pouch, I'm handing out food a lot, just little bits of it, either their kibble or half a Cheerio, so I'm not overwhelming their systems, but I am rewarding them for good behavior, and they're learning patience and impulse control because of it. The second thing you can help train your dog to do to gain patience is a stay. So we do either a stay or a go to your mat or place or go to bed, whatever you want to call it, but you're teaching your dog to hold still in a certain location, and we build that up over time, and that helps build their patience and impulse control as well. And you'll find that the demand barking disappears. All right, so with demand barking, remember, work on patience and impulse control. Those things will help your dog not demand bark anymore because they're able to wait for the food reward or the toy reward or whatever reward is coming. So the nice thing about demand barking is it is easier for you to control the rewards that your dog gets from it. Finally, let's talk about playful barking. All right, the third type of barking is playful barking. So this is when your puppies might be playing together, or they're playing with you, or they're just really excited about a toy that they're interacting with, and so some barking can happen. What I like to do specifically when there's maybe multiple dogs, so let's say you have 2 dogs and there's a lot of play barking going on, I minimize the time they're able to play and I structure that play session. So what that looks like is I'll let them play for maybe 30 seconds or a minute, depending on what they can handle, and then I'll get out some treats or food rewards and I'll lure them away from each other, and I'll get them busy sniffing or busy collecting these food rewards so that they can calm down and go back to what we call a zone 1. When they're in their nice calm zone 1, then we can say, okay, go play again, and we let them run off and play again. Again, 30, 60 seconds, maybe they can handle 2 or 3 minutes. You're going to have to decide that level that they can handle. And before the barking starts to escalate, or even before it starts to happen, we're going to bring our dogs back, do a little calm session, get them to settle down and really relax. This is the behavior I like to see, where the dog's able to lay down. And with a young puppy, you might need some food rewards to help motivate them to stay here. So I like to just take a little meal mixer, crumble it up, and it makes a really nice, as you can see, Bruno's loving this. He's just sniffing around in the grass, getting that food reward, and it really calms them down. Once they're nice and calm, we can say, okay, go back and play again. And then we're keeping their levels managed so that they're not spiking into this over threshold zone where they can't really think or manage themselves. We're keeping their zones playful, and then we settle. And then they're playful, and we settle. And we just keep going back and forth to help them regulate their play. All right, boys, let's go. All right, I hope you're better able now to identify what type of barking your dog is doing and how to handle each of the different types of barking. It's really important that you first figure out the motivation behind your dog's behavior in order to help change it. And as you can see with these 3 different types of barking, alert, demand, playful barking, your dog's doing it for different reasons. Therefore, we need to adjust how we handle it and how we help them change that pattern of behavior. So here at Baxter and Bella, we have an entire class on barking. It's an hour-long class with Q&A at the end where we coach and teach and just offer more tips on this specific issue. Also, we offer one-on-one video and phone sessions with our team of trainers to help you with any specific individual questions you have on barking.